JB, this team's 11-9 over the last 20 games, and now you're about to play 9 out of 10 teams that are in the playoff hunt. But what can this little stretch do for y'all as far as like, is it like a good measuring stick?
It's a great measuring stick. Yeah, see where we're at. I think I guess since the All-Star break or maybe a little before, played good basketball. We'll be tested again here coming up, which is great for us. That's where you want to be. And we're going to treat it as such, playoff run, playoff teams, going after every game planning. So we're going for it. And it's great for all our guys, the vets, the young guys, collectively, just to see where we're at, where we need to improve, a great measuring stick the rest of the way.
What does it say about this team that you're not in the playoff picture and they're still like trying to win? And
Well, I think it speaks to the character of our group, that we're about getting better, we're about the right things, meaning we compete, we do our job every day no matter what. There's a standard. And we're still trying to raise that standard, collectively trying to raise that standard, but every night we bring it, every night we're in every single game. We're competing to the last minute, and we expect to win every game we step on the floor, So that's a standard, and these habits are formed over time. Like this is really about the big picture here, and it doesn't all of a sudden start next year or 2 years. It starts now. You're building the habits now, winning habits, championship habits now, and eventually it comes together. So, but I'm really proud of the group. Really proud of the guys that they've stuck with it. They're not giving in. They're treating this professionally, and they're taking control of their team, and I appreciate that about them.
did you have to like instill this in them, or it was just kind of there, or like what did you have to do to get them?
I think it's a combination of all of us. I think we're all pushing the needle. It starts with me, obviously, leading the group, but it takes their leadership as well, their buy-in as well. I think the insertion of some of these vets, I give them a lot of credit too, because there could be a lot of vets right now that are just giving in. These guys are playing, and DeJounte's a big part of it. DeAndre's a part of that. They're great examples for our young guys to keep playing. So I give them a ton of credit. So to answer your question, it's just a collective effort. This is who we are. No matter our record, we're not looking at that. It's really about the process of building a championship winning program, and that's the goal right now.
It's a small sample size, only 6 games now for DeJounte, but how have you seen his play rub off on the other players? And last night, the team had 11 steals.
And I think it's that disruption on the ball. I think the biggest thing defensively is on the ball, which is something that Fears, I think, has grown in. Even before DeJounte came back, I think we were seeing Fears take a step. But now, just that hawk on the ball for us to move the needle defensively, which we have. And I think in that 20-game sample, I think we're 15th defensively, somewhere in that range. It really starts on the ball. And then we know behind it, we still have to get, protect the paint and rebound. But I think DeJounte's bringing us that, that fierce approach on the ball, the hawk on the ball. And I think he did a lot of that in Phoenix, and then the Phoenix game, and then last night, same thing too. But a great example for Fears. And then also getting through screens. I think you're watching DeJounte navigate. It's a technique thing, it's a competitive thing, it's a skill thing defensively, is how do I get through screens? And I think Fears is growing in that area, but DeJounte's textbook when it comes to that, he's one of the best in the league, is fighting over, under screens, squaring the ball up, getting back into the ball again, and that really starts our defense. So he's been fantastic. And then obviously I think he's a good rebounding guard, and look at Fears' numbers as well on the board. His numbers, he's going to be a really good defensive rebounder, which is what DeJounte has done for the most of his career. We need those, when those young guys and those guards can rebound, it really, ignites our offense going the other way.
We've seen just 3 games, right? This small ball starting lineup, but it looks like pace, good, defensively, very good. But what would you like to see still with this group? Maybe improvements-wise, anything like that?
Well, we'll continue to watch the defense. The board's going to be something we have to watch. Being a little bit smaller, we just watched a few clips today. It's got to be a gang rebounding mentality. It's got to be a physical group. And we can't have errors because there's not a lot of rim protection there once the ball gets downhill, right? So we got to do a lot of our preventative work up front. Our switching has to be good. Our one-on-one has to be good. Our transition defense has to be good. And then once the shot goes up, collectively 5 guys finding a way to dig the ball out. If we do that, we're going to have good pace, good offense going the other way, but it's going to start with our defense. So they got to communicate and be better there. Offensively, we're trying to figure it out. I think they've done well, but there's a whole other level. That could be a really elite offense. And I think that'll come through Obviously, our pace, our ball movement could be better in that group as I watched the film. And maybe that was just a product of us being able to beat our man one-on-one last night. We didn't really need to make the second action or second kick. I think Wednesday night against Toronto's length, we're going to get to the paint, but we're going to have to make that next kick out because they have length and size. I think that's going to be the challenge for that group. And then the spacing around them, that usually with a big, we're spaced more 4 out, 1 in. This group is a little bit more 5 out spacing, so we have to get a little bit more comfortable with that group. But I think the intentions are right. I think they are, they enjoy playing with one another, which is a good sign. And we're winning those minutes, I think, in general. I think that's a good sign for us. So whether we stay, this lineup will continue to play, whether, we continue to start it or play it as the game goes. We're still working through that. But so far, I think they've brought a good sample to us.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it matchup dependent at all for the rest of the year? Like if you play a big team, for instance, are you going to have to consider it?
Look, we could go that direction. I could go that direction. I also want to be as consistent as possible, and see, kind of let that group ride out a little bit, maybe give them a 5-game sample and see how they do, versus kind of going in between lineups. Maybe the next 5 games we could look at a different group. But we only played that group, I believe, 8 minutes last night. For the bulk of the game, we were big, or we played 2 bigs. We were almost jumbo at times. So. Even though we're starting small, that was really only an 8-minute sample last night. 40 minutes were primarily big. I know we're getting caught up on the start of the game, but 90% of the game we're playing more traditional. So I don't want to get that, for that to get lost in there too. So, but I like the versatility of our group. We're throwing out different combinations. We got speed, size, physicality, defense, smaller groups. So. I'm enjoying the roster. It's making my life a little bit complicated, but that's okay. It's a good problem to have.
Bi makes his return this Wednesday. Like, what did he mean to this team, and just what do you think about just how the seasons he's had making it?
Well, I'm really proud of him. Obviously, he and I were really close here, worked a lot, together. So number one, I'm very proud of him, and he deserves that recognition. And he's a fantastic human being. He's about the right things. He taught me a lot about working. He had a great spirit about him, a work ethic about him. He brought a joy to the gym every single day. So, it was an honor to coach him for me. And he's, one of the special guys I got to be around. And I'm thrilled that he's having this type of a year. Obviously, tomorrow I don't want to see any of the, any of those buckets going through the hoop. And we got to get after him. It's going to be a competitive game. They share a lot of relationships here, and it should be a fun game. But I hope more than anything the city welcomes him back and embraces him. He gave a lot to the city, blood, sweat, tears. He was a competitor, so it'll be great to see him.
JB, what did you see from BI just with how he affected, say, Trey Murphy's growth, right? Because that's something Trey's always mentioned to us about what BI's meant to him.
His professionalism and his work ethic. I think the 2 things that always stood out is that you control your work, and BI brought it every day. Whether he was going through a great stretch, a poor stretch, highs or lows throughout the season, every day he showed up to work. And I think that work ethic rubbed off on a lot of the guys, and Murphy being one of them. I know Jose has said that, Najee, Herb, his work ethic was second to none. So he had a massive impact, and he was so likable. Just as a teammate, there's something to that. When your teammates just like being around you, the spirit of that, the culture it's set for a group that really loved each other, cared about each other, and they're still very close. I see a number of them on FaceTime. They put me on FaceTime with BI now, and I think it goes back to their relationships, how much they cared about one another. And BI was very inclusive. I think he was one of those guys that, even when coaches, we didn't get to see it all, but he had guys over to his house, took him out to dinner, had a lot of maybe shopping sprees too, or things like that they bonded over. And so, I know that he meant so much to this program.